and then start the webinar. I think we are, okay, so if you go to participants and chat and everything else, we'll start to see people file in, that kind of stuff.
Hey, welcome everybody.
Everybody. Hey.
Yep. Know where you're from.
Welcome.
Hi.
How exciting!
See all these names populating.
Yeah.
Let us know where you're tuning in from.
Yeah, let me open up the chat.
Let us know where you're
Got
tuning
Virginia
in.
there.
Tuning in. That
Arizona.
Tuning in.
Yeah.
Oh, Chicago. Oh, it's going by so fast. I saw Taiwan. I saw Chicago. I saw Florida. Atlanta. Dallas.
Columbia. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
North
going.
Carolina. Brazil. Ontario. Mexico.
It's gonna
Hawaii.
be a couple minutes, right? Because people.
Philippines.
Yeah.
Philippines in the house.
Philippines in the building. Nepal. LA in the building.
Oh, Iran.
Iran.
San Francisco.
Texasco.
Bay Area. Oakland area.
Brazil.
LA,
Ciao.
Japan. Poland.
Konnichiwa.
India. Oh, there must be people up right now at like 2 or 3 in the morning. What time is it?
Yeah. Yo, you guys are amazing. Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Maryland.
Dedication, man.
Oklahoma.
3 a.m. Oh my gosh, 2 a.m., 6:30 a.m.
Ooh, 2 a.m.
Arizona.
South Africa.
Kylie, what up, Kylie? What's going on?
3 a.m. I feel like responsible for their lack of sleep. I'm sorry.
Hey, Ezra. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Got a howdy
Halifax,
from
Canada. Ontario. That's awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for Portland. There's fires everywhere. The whole West Coast is on fire, I guess. Finland, Anaheim.
Yeah.
Man. Hey, Trent. Met you at TTN. Hi again.
Hi. I saw that go by real quick.
My sky is yellow too right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Somebody just put a filter over the world.
If any of my mentees are out there, make sure you say something.
Oh, yeah. Hope CTN
isn't canceled.
Yeah, let me scroll the names. See who's in here.
Australia.
Any of your mentees, Monica? You've mentored like half of the RiseUp community, so almost everybody.
There's bound to be 1 or 100.
A little bit of free time during COVID. We're not shooting any live action right now. Animation. Oh, yes, I see someone. Yes, hi,
Hey.
How exciting.
That's awesome.
Greetings from Seattle. There you go, Bobby.
Hey, there we are. Yuki, come on.
Right.
We here.
5 people are still coming.
Hey, Kylie. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I just saw our buddy Kylie. Hi, Kylie.
Hi, Kylie. Hello. Hi, Kylie. Yo.
Sir Wade.
So what do you think? Should we start at 6:05?
Wait a minute. That guy is like a famous like YouTube person.
Monica, what if like change of plans? What if we just do this the whole time for an hour?
Just shout out everyone.
Your chat. I think everyone will start leaving maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. We're about 348 people.
Yeah. Around the world. What's going on, everybody?
What are you all going to talk about? All right, I'll tell you what we're going to talk about. First of all, let me tell you who I am. I'm Monica Lago-Katis, producer and CEO of Frogbot Films, and I'm also a RiseUp Animation mentor. I'm very proud to be, and RiseUp Animation is so excited to be part of Lightbox Expo 2020. It's so exciting, the fact that Bobby, Jim, and the team were able to make this happen online, and we hope that all of you have an opportunity to take part in everything that Lightbox has to offer. Today, I'm going to be moderating the panel, Rising Up, Intro to RiseUp Animation, with our founders, Frank Abney, Trent Correy, and Bobby Pontillas.
Hey.
The guys are going to explain exactly what RiseUp Animation is, why it was founded, and what the future holds. And then there's going to be a Q&A at the end, so please hold your questions until then. First, I want to introduce you to the founders of RiseUp Animation. So we're going to start with Frank Abney. Frank is an African-American director an animator that has worked in the animation industry for well over a decade in games, TV, and films at studios such as Walt Disney Animation Studios, DreamWorks Animation, and Pixar Animation Studios. Frank is currently directing an unannounced project at Netflix, and he is also preparing to release his short film, Canvas.
Hey.
See, that's my little clap. Sorry, I'm reading this part. Guys.
Amazing.
Thanks.
Next.
Yeah.
Next,
Amazing. Wow.
we've got Trent Corey. Trent is a Canadian-born shorts director and animator at Walt Disney Animation Studios with over a decade of experience working in the animation industry. Along with animating on films such as Frozen, Big Hero 6, Zootopia, and Moana, Trent directed the animated short film Drop, currently available on Disney+, so check that out. And most recently, Trent was the writer and director of the newly announced original Olaf short, Once Upon a Snowman, and that's going to debut on Disney+ October 23rd. Pew, pew, pew.
Pontillas.
Get your
It's
Disney Plus.
Oh, yo, yeah, dope,
Wrapping up.
amazing,
Next.
amazing. Congratulations, Trent.
Yeah,
Thank you.
But
You're
next
all
we have
so
Bobby Pontillas. Bobby is a Filipino-American artist that has worked in the animation and games industry as an animator, character designer, art director, and director for such studios as Disney, Tyco, Blue Sky, ArenaNet, and more. He's also an Academy Award nominated director for the animated short film One Small Step. Bobby is currently developing an animated projects for both Disney Channel and Disney+. So,
Yeah, thank you. guys.
Wow, what group!
You
And
do.
Bobby's dog's name is Pua, which most of you know, because Pua steals the show in every Zoom meeting.
look at
And
Pua.
I'm just going to throw something else out there too. This is exclusive to Lightbox right now. That we're so excited to announce our fourth founder of RiseUp, Monica Lego-Cadis, right here. Monica has been with us
Yeah.
since day one. Monica, like one of the first people when we started RiseUp, day one, she texted us, she emailed us and said, how can I help? I want to be part of this. And she's been a driving force behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, every aspect. She's probably mentored 349 of you, however many of you are in this call. She's been a part of it. And let me give a little bio on Monica and embarrass her a little bit too. Monica is a Hispanic American writer and producer. Monica started her career at Walt Disney Animation Studios as a production assistant on Pocahontas. In her 23 years, I know she only looks 26. In her 23 years with Disney, she worked her way up, all the way up, to associate producer on Wreck-It Ralph and Zootopia. Monica made her live action debut as a producer on the Christmas Chronicles, which all made us cry in the Christmas of 2018,
2018, yeah.
working alongside her director and husband, Clay Cadis, who we're all big fans of too. We all love our Clay. Together, they run their production company, Frogbot Films. Monica is a Producers Guild of America member and is currently leading a working group within the organization to increase inclusion and visibility of BIPOC in animation. Monica also loves Baskin-Robbins Rocky Road ice cream. And currently, she is working with her team of Frogbot Films on both animated and live action IP that they're currently working on. So Monica, we couldn't be more excited to announce you as our fourth founding member.
Thank you. Oh, I'm so proud. Look, I'm like getting off the clip. Okay. But enough about me. This is about you guys.
No, it's not about us.
It's about all of us.
It's about all of us. It is. But we want to hear from you guys. And thank you all. I see the comments. You guys are really sweet. Thank you for congratulating me and saying that I look like I must be a vampire because I look so young. I love that. I do. I love that. Okay. Okay. So guys, I've given a brief description of all of your accomplishments, but I feel like there's so much more to each of you. And I feel like we should take a moment to dig a little deeper. So I'm going to ask each of you a question. Frank's is definitely the deepest question. And this is because I heard Frank speak about this and it really touched my heart. So Frank, you mentioned that your father passed away when you were 5 years old and that animation had a big impact. So how did that help you deal with his death at such a young age?
Yeah. So around that time, I didn't really, I think it took a little while to fully understand, that he wasn't, coming back, and I feel like, with my mom having to work and all the time, and we're at home all the time, and it was the TV. I was in front of the TV, and I got sucked into storytelling and movies and stuff, and Lion King, that animated film, just a little indie feature, maybe you guys have seen it or heard of it, I don't know, but that was the first time I was able to really connect with a story on a deeper level like that, with Simba losing his father, and the fear of the oncoming responsibilities as an adult, and the new quote unquote man of the house, and so when I saw that, it was I love drawing and stuff at the time, and I was, that kind of told me what I could do with it. This kind of opened up the door of like wow, I want to have that effect. I want to be able to tell stories that can connect with people and touch them in some ways that can help them feel like they're not alone, that other people can understand their situation or how they feel. And so that was my introduction to wanting to jump into animation or just storytelling in general.
I love that. I mean, I love hearing that inspired you. My stepdad actually worked on The Lion King as well.
Oh, nice.
Like that was, it's a very important film for, I think, for all of us, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Trent, you're next. Now, you're Canadian. I don't know anything about that. No, I'm just kidding. I understand that you didn't take any art classes or draw until your senior year of high school. Like, how is that even possible? How is it you're so good? What?
Well, that's true. I love that this question is very much less deep than the Frank question. But this is perfect. No, yeah. So I went to, I like to share this message because it, I hear at working at Disney, everyone that talks about their past, they're like, I knew I wanted to be a Disney animator when I was 4 years old. I drew and I did all these classes. But my story is not like that. My story is I failed grade 9 art. I didn't take art again in high school. And I found a teacher named Mr. Leduc who he had a film class. It was a live action film class. We made films, and he was just so passionate about what he did that rubbed off on me, and he really kind of mentored me in high school. And to be honest, I had no idea what I wanted to do until that last semester of grade 12. And I was like, what can I do with only an English credit? Because that's straight up all I got. So I'm just telling everyone here that you don't need to have a plan. And it was really this teacher and my mom, who my mom's an artist, and she's like, well, why don't you take that love of film and art and combine them? And I had always loved animated movies. I just had never connected that was a job. We didn't have guidance counselors telling us. We didn't have, schools that were doing outreach for that. So that's how I got into it. And I just kind of learned on the job, and I'm just so excited about, sharing that with you all, and also, paying it forward with RiseUp here. So that's my less deep story.
But it's pertinent. I think it's important for people to hear that, you can start at any age. And I'm glad you brought up about the educational piece, because I too, even though I'm a little bit older than you guys, I grew up on Saturday morning cartoons as well. And I never thought it never occurred to me that there could be a job in animation for me. My mom was an artist. I could do art, but I was like, I didn't know that you could be a production person and a manager, and there's technology. So I love that RiseUp is doing that and helping people to, anyway, we'll talk more about that in a minute. Okay, Bobby, you ready for your question? You're muted. But Bobby, you're muted.
I bet he's saying great things though.
Oh, sorry.
Don't be. It was great because I was like,
New problem. I just saw Don on this call, and I just want to give a shout out to Don of anytime I interfaced with Don, she was so supportive.
Don Yamazi?
Yamazi, she's on this call. I saw her on this call, so I would be remiss to not give her a shout out.
Absolutely.
Support to me and other artists and anything else.
So many great artists at Disney Animation because Don created that program. My God.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
I talk about that a lot during my mentees.
Yeah.
Okay, Bobby.
And the funny thing about Dawn too is when you would go to SIGGRAPH or when you would go to any Comic-Con or anything, she'd be there, and then she would be like, "I know you. I know your name," and it would make me feel so important that somebody from Disney knew my name. I'm like, what?
Have you seen Don walk down the halls at those conferences? It's like The Godfather. Everyone just parts and she gives the kiss.
Kisses her ring.
I mean, it's legitimately founded because she'll remember. I mean, she said to me yeah, I remember you, who you are, and I had a tough time getting to Disney, but she supported me along the way, and I automatically assume it's the same for a lot of people. So Don, if you're still here, probably.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Oh, good. You just did it.
Yeah.
I did it.
So
that's what I did.
So that brings me to my next question. So Bobby, I understand two things that I realized about you. One is you like to salute people, which I love. And secondly, I think you and I both had a crush. Well, I'm sorry, maybe I shouldn't say crush. We're both big fans of Glenn Keane. And so I know you mentioned he really inspired you. So let's talk about that, because he was, my first movie was Pocahontas, so I'm with you.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna ask how was that for you, but
it was amazing.
I realized the question was for me.
But it is for you.
Glenn Keane's work on Tarzan changed my life. I was in art school. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. All I knew is I wanted to draw and paint. But when I saw Tarzan in 1999, it became clear what I wanted to do, and it changed my life. It gave my life direction. And there were those making ofs that they have on the DVDs. And when you fire up those making ofs, there's a guy going, "Hi, I'm Glenn Keane, supervising animator of Tarzan. I have a passion for animation, and it's blah blah blah. It doesn't just come out of me. I have to study and did all these studies and all the kind of stuff, and it goes for an hour, and you're like, oh, this is what I want. This is exactly what I wanted to do with my life, and that was it. It was Glenn. It was Tarzan, and anything that had anybody that had anything to do with that, accidentally or purposefully, they changed my life. And so I guess moving forward, it's like anyone that is looking for an inspiration, hang on to that inspiration. That little inspiration. It's a little kind of like making of DVD thing, but it'll get you through tough times.
Those things were really meaningful, I feel like, during those times, seeing those behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So I have a quick little story about Glenn on Pocahontas. So I used to have really long hair. Some people who've known me a long time remember that. Before I lost it, I didn't really decide. Before I lost it to cancer, decided to go with the mohawk. But I had really long hair, and I didn't really have a part. My hair, I would just move it around, and it would just kind of fall, much like Pocahontas does in the movie. So even though I, of course, I was just a little PA, and they definitely had their people they were looking at. There was a beautiful Native American gal who was the inspiration, but but I will say that Glenn would pull me in the room once in a while and say, okay, Monica, do it. And I would do my hair. And so they would use that for reference. So yeah,
Oh,
Glenn.
that's crazy.
Oh
Oh my God.
awesome.
That's so
And 2 cleanup drawings in that movie of Ratcliffe. Okay, that's it. That's my I did. It made it in the movie. Me forever. It took me forever. Okay.
Oh my God.
Incredible, incredible.
That's
But you know,
crazy.
the funny thing about that, Monica, is like, as I mean, that's, you know, that story is amazing, and then it lives on forever, right? Like in the context of something like Pocahontas, right? You can, we will always tell that story.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the power of the Disney animated films.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's true. It's very true. Yeah. Okay. So Trent, did I hear that you guys all crossed paths at Disney? Were you trainees or interns, or did I just make that up?
You did not make that up. And also, sorry, I just want to add one thing too. When you use the word crush on Glenn Keane, that was accurate. Like there's not one time I'm hanging with Bobby where he doesn't bring up his mad love for Glenn Keane. That is, you had the right word. Your gut was.
I think you always crush on people.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So yes, and you know, this is a good time to bring up Dawn again, because I think I can speak for us all that, you know, we met with her for years before coming to Disney. She was there at festivals and kind of guiding us, all 3 of us. And then we all got to, you know, be in talent development for her, which is such a great program at Disney. And that's all Dawn. Like, she is the mastermind behind that. So, you know, we each had our own journeys to TalDev, and Bobby and I met there. We were in the same section, and the way it worked was there was 16 people in our group. You know, there was like 4 Viz Dev, 4 story, 4 animation, 4 layout, and we just collaborated together, and that's where Bobby and I first met and kind of grew. And then right after us, Frank came along during Frozen. So we all worked on Frozen together, but so much of the Disney studio came from that program, and that's where all of us met for the first time. And I'll throw it to you guys if you want to mention anything about TalDev.
Yeah, I'll just quickly add, like, you know, there was it's kind of crazy to hear about, you know, Trent's non-existent art training, because like when I remember upon coming in, and you know, it was like seeing this guy's work. It was like it was like he had another. He lived another lifetime before coming in. It's like where did all, you know, like, you know, some people are just born with it, I think, you know, and it's but you know, I don't know, that's another thing. But you know, and Bobby as well, like that was I had known of Bobby before going to Disney because of his short film at Animation Mentor, and he had a kind of a combination. It was like, what was it called? Better Off Undead, or
Oh yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
No, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
The blend of the 3D and the 2D, and I remembered it well, and so it was kind of it was nice being in the same building, and you know, being able to learn and know these guys.
Yeah.
And you know, Frank, what I'll just really quickly add to that is that program was so unique because it brought in people from all around the world, different backgrounds, like different age groups, different everything. And just like there was this room, you know, you'd have Canadians and Israeli and Europeans and men, women, just everybody represented in this group. And it was just such a fun way to meet people and learn from each other.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So Bobby, how did the idea of RiseUp Animation come about?
Yeah, so in the beginning, I think it was about June or July or something like that, and we're all kind of sitting in this shitty situation of like quarantine and everything that happened with George Floyd, and I mean, everything was the worst, right? And I think, I mean, to be honest, that's kind of where it happened. I mean, of just kind of like this pit, like this pit of just like bullshit. And I think at some point, you know, me and Frank and Trent were kind of keeping in touch, and Trent texts me and is like, man, there's got to be something that I could do, or there's got to be something that we can do. I've been donating, or you know, just sort of watching things, whatever I can do to educate myself. And I felt like a desperation, you know, like from my peers. And he was like, hey, you know, maybe if we did something in the animation space, right? You know, I mean, like, we have all these skills, we have these privileges, we know all these people. What can we do now to help people of color? And that's what he said specifically. So we started to like brainstorm kind of ways that what could we do, like mentorships, that kind of stuff, or, you know, how to reach as many people as we could. And we kind of, you know, over the course of 2 days, you know, we started talking to Frank as well, of just kind of like, let's try to just kind of like do what we can to offer people of color, you know, portfolio reviews. You know, maybe there's a lot of people like halfway around the world that they can't show their portfolio to anybody, you know, around the world just because of geography. But what if we give them that opportunity? So the notion was to RiseUp Animation gives, offers free portfolio reviews to people of color, free, and we'll do it however we can. So, and then we sort of set out on like, how can we do this? And so it's going to be a little bit of, you know, kind of the Zoom and Google Maps, and combining those two things. But like, I think that was the biggest thing in the beginning, and just try to provide resources to people of color that don't necessarily have, you know, that resource to Hollywood and that kind of stuff. So.
Right. I've heard you say, I think I've heard you say, or maybe it was Trent, one of you guys talked about the fact that Hollywood seems so far away to some people,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like our way of bringing Hollywood to them wherever they're at. And right. And I know you briefly talked a little bit about like the mission statement of kind of what the mission is. Trent, do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, for sure. And Bobby, thanks for going through that. I think, you know, and I'll just add that I reached out to these other two gentlemen who are also good friends of mine, because they already give back in their own ways. These are the guys that like lead by example. They answer Instagram messages, they look at reels, they volunteer at CTN. It's like, it was just an obvious decision, and as is Monica joining us, because these are people that want to give back, and we know that, you know, we know that the future of our industry depends on, you know, the diverse and inclusive storytelling, and we all believe in that, and all of our mentors believe in that, and that's why RiseUp is as successful as it's been so far. So, you know, our mission, to your point, Monica, our mission statement is to provide industry advice to all people of color to help them rise up in the animation industry. It's really the main idea was to give access and those tools, that face-to-face to Hollywood, which is what Monica mentioned. So that's our main statement, is to just really provide those tools for all sorts of talent in the industry.
Right. It's really important for everyone to realize, those of you watching, and tell your friends that it's not just for artists. I mean, absolutely, we're looking at portfolios, but we're also doing, we're looking at resumes for production management personnel. We have music people, editors, technology. So just know that we're here for you.
Yeah.
So Trent, what about any kind of like, how does it work? Like, how does RiseUp Animation work? Are there any kind of like rules or parameters that people need to know about?
Yeah, for sure. So we have we operate solely off Instagram right now. That's our main spot. That's our interface where you go to sign up. And I know a lot of you in the chat have probably signed up already, but we basically have a link in the bio, and that link, it's a link tree, and it provides a link to a Google form. And the idea is you just sign up on the Google form. You do have to be 18 years or older. For now, we are looking at, the future of RiseUp, I think, holds versions of this where we can speak to high school students and younger and parents. But for now, it's 18 older for the one-on-one reviews. And that's really what this is. It's a one-on-one review that gives you FaceTime. Like, the idea is to get you face-to-face with like a Netflix director or a Pixar animator or a Disney development exec or like a producer, or, it's that face-to-face that we're really excited about. So you sign up. We have over 20 disciplines for you to choose from. We look at specific disciplines. So we currently do not look at show pitches or scripts, but we do look at things like 2D animation, stop motion, lighting and look development, production management, like Monica mentioned. So we're looking at resumes, and even things like music and editorial. We go all the way through the pipeline. And basically the way it works is your mentor will reach out to you, and you'll get a mentor that has so much experience in the industry, and they'll meet with you. And I think Bobby can talk to this a little more, but these mentorships are definitely a two-way street. This is, and Bobby can fill you in, but we're taking away as much from these mentorships as you are. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I was going to actually ask about that, because I did hear Bobby mention that it is not just a one-way conversation. It's not just someone lecturing a mentee. So that was you, right, Bobby?
Yeah, it's definitely not like a mentor lecturing a mentee. It's a conversation. It's a connection, right? So, we talked a lot to the mentors about how we wanted to structure this. And then we had a lot of great ideas of just kind of like it being an exchange of ideas. So I tried to keep that in mind as well. We can't control like how every mentor, conducts their session, but the way I try to conduct it is like I come in and it's to get to know you, right? It's not just, hello, I'm Bobby, I'm going to tell you what I think about your work. But no, it's really about like, hey, I'm Bobby, who are you? How are you feeling? What are your aspirations? What are your dream jobs? What are your goals? What are some of the, barriers that get in the way of those goals? Let's talk about it, that kind of thing. I really, we really try to frame it along those lines of just kind of like, it's not a one-way street. It's about kind of connecting with everybody, right? We might learn a lot of things that we didn't even know before, which is crazy, and it'll change our lives. But like, it is really a back and forth. It is really a conversation more so than a straight portfolio review. So that's what we try to encourage.
Yeah. And just to point out, just in case anyone, there's any confusion, it's definitely like, it's set up to be a one-time, meeting with an industry professional. It can be in half an hour. Some people, if they have the time, we spend an hour, because I don't like to rush, but we can't, not all mentors have that ability. So I love the fact that there is flexibility.
Yeah.
And in addition, you can sign up again every 30 to 60 days. And you can talk to potentially another mentor. Sometimes people will sign up for industry advice, and then we kind of get into what it is that they feel like they want to really be doing, or maybe what they're best at. And then I'll encourage them to sign up under that discipline. So just know that you can do that. And some mentors, we're cool with, like, if you want to email us afterwards, but it really is up to each individual mentor. So I like to manage people's expectations a little bit.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah, and it's good to I like the if I don't know if Dina's in here, but the last one I've been working with, so they, we I asked up front, like, how would you want to do this? Do you want to jump on Zoom? Do you want to do email? Do you want, but so we're doing email right now. So we're just emailing back and forth and, kind of going from there. So it's really up to you. And I think that, like Bobby was saying, like that connection, I think that's the number one thing, just industry wide. I mean, I feel like the relationships are the things that's going to keep you, keep you in it for one thing and keep you progressing, like maintaining those relationships, building those relationships and not just, I mean, the work is definitely a big part of it, but yeah, those relationships are huge.
Yeah.
They are huge. In fact, that was kind of my next question, because I was going to say that for me, the meeting all of these different people from all around the world. I mean, I've always wanted to give back. When I was working at Disney, and I mean, this was a lot of years ago, we wanted to go into schools and get the word out, so that's definitely something that's on the horizon for us for RiseUp Animation, is to get into schools and be planting the seed for people, in 6th grade, junior high, and high school. You want to start early. But for me, it's been so rewarding to meet all of these people all over the world and hear everybody's story. And, I mean, I've actually cried with a couple mentees. I mean, it's just so moving. So what do you feel like, what do you get out of the mentoring?
I can jump on this one. And I think we've all texted at some point, and said, like, I had my first crying session, with a mentor. Cause it is true. Like, we are, my big takeaway is I'm hearing stories. I know that I come from a place of privilege, and I like to hear the stories. I like to pay it forward and learn their stories and learn as much from them. So that's been a big part of this for me. It's honestly, the reviews are the things I look forward to in the week the most. So paying it forward and hearing stories is definitely number one for me.
Me too.
Yeah, I think for me, I guess it's just the opportunity to be able to give something back, because it was during that struggle of trying to get into the industry, there was always that feeling like, when I finally got someone to take me seriously and give me feedback or give me their time in any kind of way, I always kind of had this feeling like, if I'm ever in that kind of position, I want to be able to do that as well. And because of knowing how hard this journey is, like I want to be able to reach back and pull someone up, and that's kind of like been the main thing that I've been getting out of it, between this and also seeing some of the success stories of people, whose work is being discovered and they're getting hired or getting on the radar of these big studios. It's that's rewarding.
Yeah.
It is so rewarding. I'm so glad you said that, because I just got an email from one of my mentees. She got hired as a production, it's like an assistant, but it's on the road. It's so rewarding. And then there's another one who just is interviewing for an internship at DreamWorks. So I'm just like, oh my God, I guess get the baby.
Extending your little babies out there.
Yeah. I mean, and then like Monica, I think there is that real, like, I told Trent and Frank, in the last 2 weeks, two production people got hired from their mentors in Netflix and Disney TV, which is great, which is amazing. And then I think beyond that, I think with the program, I think we there's a lot of times I think we can sort of be looking like generally and outward and that kind of stuff, but like when people get hired into Netflix or into DCB, and that's crazy. I mean, like, hired, and I wrote her a congratulations note, And she was like, yeah, man, it all happened because I signed up for the, Rise Up. And I was like, fuck, that's crazy, man. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like, it can just kind of change your perspective, I think so. Anyway.
It's that access that we've all benefited from.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, all of us have benefited from mentorship or guidance or access to like events, and that's all we're trying to do, right?
Right.
Yeah, and we have to be really clear. Like our initiative, our organization isn't about getting people jobs. We can't do that. We can't guarantee anything like that. But the fact that we're able to give advice and people can tweak their portfolios or change their resumes into a way that's eye-catching, they're getting the jobs on their own. So it's really exciting.
Right. Yeah, I think so.
Agree.
So we do a lot of panels. Like that's a big piece of it as well. Can you guys talk a little bit about like how that came about? Was that always part of it? And how do you sustain it? Because you do quite a few.
Yeah, I can talk about the panels. So the panels kind of come from a space of really connecting everybody from around the world with industry professionals, right? Really connecting them so they can hop on the Zoom call and kind of have a connection with them, right? So we kind of want to break down the barriers of kind of like, Hollywood is so far, or, I'll never have a connection with executives or character designers, or biz dev artists or animators in this way. So if we can kind of break that down, so where they're kind of like in the loop of just kind of having a conversation with these people, I think that's the biggest goal. I told you, everyone before, Monica, of like, like panels kind of have, I think like 3 purposes. Like one of them is sort of amplifying the journey, right? The journey of, Monica, you came from, this place and you got to this place, right? And which was, monumental and kind of impossible, right? But you did it, you did it. And how did you do it? So that's a big part of it, the journey. The next one is, the next sort of panel we have is like isolating kind of the discipline, right? Animation, biz dev, character design, right? Like that's what Disney Week was, right? A focus on character design, right? Or a focus on storyboarding, right? And people loved it. I mean, like, loved it. So that's another type of like kind of panel. Like Mike Herrera's focus on storyboarding had like 2,800 people, which is fucking crazy, which is nuts. It's like the biggest meeting we've ever had, Mike Herrera. And yeah, people will say Mike Herrera's webinar is amazing, but people tuned in before they knew he was amazing. There was 2,800 people before he started getting going. So he was amazing. And then the last one is just amplifying underrepresented voices, right? So Latin American voices, Black American voices in directing. And so, I mean, we have those 3, and we're open to anything more. But yeah, I will not discount I won't discount the sort of underrepresented voices too, because I think that helps for a lot of people. We had this Indian Indian voices in animation just this last Wednesday, and we had so many people from around the world that were Indian or from India, and I think it was very moving, very affecting for the panelists as well as the attendees, you know, because it's an underrepresented voice, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and sorry, Mama, I'll just add really quick that that you know, in terms of sustainability for these talks, you know, we're hoping to do one or two a week still. We want to continue doing that. And the best part is we have so many passionate people that want to share their journey, their voices to inspire, you know, people like them, people that look like them. And also we have people that want to do demos. We had, you know, some of you might've seen Wayne Unton did a demo. He said, I'll do a bouncing ball. He did a bouncing ball in 2D, stop motion, and CG. Wayne Unton, the Bob Ross of Disney. You know, so we're gonna start playing with more talks like that too.
And aside from the Disney week, because I know that was recorded by Disney and they're not releasing that because it's proprietary to them. I get it. But aren't all the other panels, don't we record them and we're going to be putting them onto YouTube so people can see them?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So Trent, what's been the reaction to Rise Up Animation? It sounds like you have a lot of people who want to be involved and donate their time, classes, equipment. I'm hearing all kinds of stuff. Tell us.
Yeah, so it's been, you know, from day one when we put the word out there, you know, Bobby drew that great logo and we put it out there. The response has been amazing. I think, you know, Bobby, Frank, and I, when it started, just thought, hey, maybe 10 people will sign up. I don't know, maybe we can do this ourselves. We had 500 applicants that first weekend and we're like, holy shit, we got to get some help. So when we put the word out to help, guys, the industry just came in droves for this. Like DreamWorks, Netflix, Pixar, Disney, Nickelodeon, TV, just independent artists. Everyone was like, I want to be a part of this. I want to help. I want to do something. I want to pay it forward. So that was like the initial reaction. And now 3 months later, you know, we've done about 3,000 portfolio reviews, maybe more. We haven't crunched the numbers, but we've done a lot. And Rise Up is looking to what phase 2 is. And right now, you know, Monica is a big leader in helping set up Rise Up as a nonprofit, which is super exciting. So we'll be an official organization. We have other help on that, Morgan and some others just really helping out to drive that. And Monica can speak more to that. And we also have like studios reaching out. We have companies reaching out saying, we want to donate. We want to donate classes. We want to donate Cintiqs maybe. We want to donate all these fun things. So we have a lot of groups reaching out, and our very own Katie Lowe, which if you've been lucky enough to have a mentorship with her, she's great. She is heading up a scholarship fund, which we're working hard at. So phase 2 of Rise Up is very exciting, but the main thing we're all focused on is that this cannot just be a response to George Floyd and the times we're in. This has to be a movement going forward. You know, it's not a moment, it's a movement, and that's what we're excited about. And all of our efforts now moving forward is how do we sustain Rise Up?
Right.
You got it. You said it right. I don't feel like there's anything to add to that. Well done.
Thank you.
That's awesome. I will ask Frank though, if I may, what's your view of the amount of BIPOC in the animation industry today?
I feel like there's I mean, in my head, I feel like there's a shortage, but you know, I feel like there's I think there's just a lot of people that just haven't had the opportunities, you know, like which is perfect for what's, you know, what we're trying to do with Rise Up. And because there's people that I've had in class, like I've been teaching for the last 7 years or so, and so, you know, I see people that trickle in, and I've seen people's work online and here and there, and I, you know, I'm like why haven't this person been hired yet, or why hasn't, you know, and sometimes it's just sometimes it's, you know, whether it's not having the resources to be able to, you know, continue a piece, you know, if they don't have the necessary software, their computer is slowing them down, you know, whatever it is, whatever it may be, you know, there's always these kind of roadblocks. And, you know, it's not necessarily the studio's not hiring because, you know, they look like this. I mean, our work goes out first. I mean, they don't even know what we look like. But you know, I do feel like there's a shortage, but I feel like it's on the rise, you know, and I feel like even, you know, within the industry, you know, within these studios that may have you know, a decent amount here and there. I mean, decent amount is still like under 10% of the whole studio, but you know, it's my feeling with that is you know, just is there opportunities for growth? You know, if the studio is telling a story that's directed toward a particular region, are you trying to put the right people in place to help bring some authenticity to it? You know, or, you know, just yeah, I feel like there's a lot of room for growth, but, you know, I do see the needle moving.
I agree with you.
It was just a side thing. I was kind of, I don't know if you guys are hearing it.
Yeah.
I don't know if someone's like hijacking my the connection. I keep hearing like a little.
I thought you were like playing something. I'm like.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, maybe I'm just hearing that. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. I think just making sure we're putting our best foot forward when it comes to creating a team that can bring about unique perspectives and viewpoints to our stories, because I think that's what's going to make it more universal or I mean specific and universal to reach different people around the world. So
you actually just touched upon something I was going to bring back up, because you've mentioned it, and I think Trent mentioned it earlier, maybe it was Bobby, I apologize, but it was about the fact that why it is so important to have Black, Indigenous people and people of color, you know, in the animation industry. And let's say it bears repeating, so say it, Trent.
Yeah, well, you know, I think, like I mentioned before, our volunteers just came out, you know, we have over 500 volunteers, and it's because our industry and those people volunteering do believe that, and we all believe in this room, that the future of our industry does depend on this diverse and inclusive storytelling. And you know, I'll throw it to Bobby and Frank and Monica, because those three right there are proof. They are leading the way, and they are all running their own shows, directing or producing, and you know, eventually they will hire staff and help rise up those efforts. So these three are three of the leaders in the industry for that.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
go ahead, Frank.
No, go.
No, I was just going to say that when I started, there really wasn't anyone who looked like me, and I don't just mean like the Mohawk. I mean, there were it was all white male, maybe some Italian men. You know, as far as producers, there was maybe one or two women at the studio, but they would kind of come and go. I mean, and they were, you know, there was no, I'm Latina, I'm Hispanic, but I'm also Latina, and it was. So it was interesting to me, and I think they've definitely made a great change even since I left. I left Disney in 2017, and some great changes have happened. So it's going in the right direction. Like Frank has said, I'm just one of those people. Yeah, I'm a little impatient. I really want that needle to be moving faster. This is 2020, and I think I'm passionate about being like, that's not enough. So what we're doing here is really good work.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, and just to echo that, like the same deal, like you, and it means a lot when you're in a space, in a creative space, and you know, feeling like you're among people that you know, that you can be comfortable with, and luckily, you know, with sharing a unique goal with working on, you know, these projects or film, TV, you know, whatever it is, or just being in the art world, you know, you kind of, you have that kind of brotherhood, sisterhood, you know, regardless of what you look like, you know, but there is something special to seeing someone that looks like you and seeing that they've done what you're trying to do. And you know, just as an animator, I've up until recently, like the most that I've worked with was 2, including myself, on an animation team at any given time, if I wasn't the only one. And you know, yeah, up until recently, and that was like maybe 5 of us. And so yeah, it always reminds me to that moment that I first got into feature, going to Disney Animation and passing Marlon West in the hallway, and having lunch with Bruce Smith, and meeting Floyd at TTN, you know, like just putting these names and faces that I've seen in real life, like it's like you're real, like like you're doing what I'm trying to do, and you know, it's something really special about that.
Totally.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's nothing to shy up on. So, like, what was the biggest moment for you, Frank, of like meeting one of those guys? Do you think? Like whether Bruce or you know, Floyd or Marlon, you know, like what was the biggest thing for you?
It's just that they're real people. Like, yeah, I feel like sometimes, you know, we you know, they I guess similar to the Hollywood thing, like it seems so far away and unreachable. You see these people on you know, these behind the scenes features. You know, I saw Bruce and Marlon talking on Princess and the Frog on an interview on YouTube, and you know, so getting to speak with these people in real life and know about their journeys, like, yeah, you know, it's there's no I guess, you know, like the Kung Fu Panda, there's no secret ingredient. You know, it's like you know, everyone's had their journey and you know, their own struggles, and you know, it's not like yeah, it kind of gives you hope that you can push through your own stuff as well.
Exactly, because we tend to put people on a pedestal, right? And so we look at all these people, and then you meet them, and you're like, you're normal, you're human, you know. I maybe I can do this. So absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost 7 o'clock. I feel like we've talked about what RiseUp Animation is, where we're going to be going in the future, and we've got quite a few questions. So let's go to Q&A if that's okay with you guys.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Let's do it.
All right. Yeah, I guess you guys, everyone can see the questions. We've got one from Katrina. What kind of 2D animation should you have in your demo reel or portfolio?
Whoops, Trent.
You know what? I can jump on that one. Sure. You know, I think it's important that you, and we talk about this a lot in RiseUp. I wouldn't say it's a type of 2D animation. I'd say do something that's personal to you. That's what's going to make you stand out. Whether it's stop motion, whether it's CG, whether it's 2D. Again, like we had Katie Lowe come on, you know, with the Happy Hour podcast, and she became an animator at Disney, and she had 2D stop motion and CG in her portfolio, but it wasn't the medium that caught her eye. It was the personal touch that only is Katie, and that's, you know, that's for everybody. It's what makes you you, and what does that spark. So I try to focus on that first. What makes you? We always like to say that, you know, at a certain point, our skill levels, we all learn at our own pace. At a certain point, we'll catch up to each other. We can all do the bouncing ball the same. But what makes you specific? What makes you you? And that's your life experiences. That's where you grew up. That's how you got here.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like one of the things I tend to share with people when they're asking those kinds of questions is, you know, same thing, you know, do you show your style. And then once you've really mastered that and done some tests or what have you, or pieces of artwork, then if you want to try some other styles to show that you have some variety, that's always good too.
Yeah.
Great. We have another question from Nicholas. In the animation industry, what is the best program to use while rising up from the animation industry in a 2D setting? I guess I think, you know, a lot of people are using like Toon Boom, Harmony.
Yeah, I can take this one again. I think, yeah, honestly, there's so many versions out there. There's Rough Animator on iPad. There's like Procreate, Photoshop. There's so much access right now. I don't think it really, and Toon Boom, you know, TV Paint. I don't think it really matters which one you use. I think it's just that you keep using it and you grow and you learn these different softwares and you're open to the different programs.
Awesome. I don't want to mispronounce. Is it Darot? Animation is such a big pipeline. I like to do everything from character design, animating storyboards, etc. How do you choose which one to focus on for your portfolio? That's a good one.
Ooh,
that's it.
That's a good one.
I guess what you're applying for, you know, because I guess unless all those jobs are available for you to apply for at the same time, it's like you know, just focusing it specifically to what you're doing, but you know, having those skills. I mean, even if you put it on your resume that you have those skills, you know, they can see, you know, if there is, especially if it's a smaller studio, and they can see like that you can wear many hats and you can kind of bounce around between different things. But yeah, keeping it specific to what you're applying for.
Yeah, I mean,
tailoring your role for that.
Right, the big studios really kind of look for you to try to come in for one discipline. So kind of like college, right? You have a major and a minor. It's like you can't go to school and be like, I want to study everything. It's kind of hard. So it's pretty much, I think it's about figuring out what is your true passion. What is your absolute favorite thing? You got to do it every day for 14 hours a day. I was going to say from 9 to 5, as if. But then there's another thing to think about is the thing that you may love the most, maybe the thing that you actually have to continue to work on. So there may be something else that and I say this because I've had a lot of mentees who are like, I want to animate, and their animation isn't quite where it needs to be, but they're amazing at story. And so I'll say, well, you know, you can get in it with story, start doing that, and then you'll be in a studio and environment and you can learn from some of the best animators. So it's another way to do it if you don't want to wait.
Right. Yeah.
Cynthia, are we still able to apply for portfolio reviews? I got one back in July, but was hoping to get, oh yeah, girl, Cynthia,
Yeah.
sign up.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
This will be ongoing as long as RiseUp survives. You know, we just keep going. We're going to keep looking at portfolios.
Absolutely. The only time we close down the forum is if we have a lot of people we want to get through, because some areas people are busy.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
you know, like VizDev, we have a lot of people waiting, and character design. So if you're on the list, be patient. We will absolutely get to you.
Yes.
There's a question for Trent. You ready?
Ready.
As a Canadian, what was your journey into the industry, which seems to be mostly in the US?
Yeah, well, and who was it? I think Tony Bancroft said, does POC stand for People of Canada? No, Tony. Come on, how could he say that on the podcast? It does not. So yes, my journey was, I started working when I was 20. I went to school for 3 years, but I started working, 2 years out of school. And I just worked my way through the commercial TV world. And really, if Don Yamazi is still out there, it was going to festivals, meeting Don Yamazi, meeting Matt Roberts, meeting other recruiters at other studios, and getting feedback, but then doing the feedback, like not lying to myself and just showing them my work to show the work. I would get the feedback and I would take the next 6 months and I would really work at that feedback and try to go back to them and show them change. And I think Don can attest to this, that I applied to Disney for 5 years for the TALDEF program. And I think they finally just gave up. But one of the things they said was, we tracked your improvement over the years. And we saw you growing, and studios like to see growth. So my journey was not graduate college and get to Disney. It was graduate, hustle, work my ass off for 5-6 years. And then, a lot like Bobby and Frank and Monica, who we all just kind of hustled. And, we all face our own obstacles. And that was mine, just trying to work my way up and meet with studios.
Awesome. Let's see. So right now, I'm just seeing a question from Mr. Rodriguez, who's a middle school teacher, and 1/3 of his students are people of color, and he's wondering if would be interested in speaking to his young teenagers. Absolutely. So I'm gonna email you. I'm gonna send you a reply to this, Mr. Rodriguez, in a second, and I will send you my email address so you can email me, and we'll set that up. We'll work on that because that's definitely something we want to be doing.
Me too.
Right? Everybody. Yeah.
Snapper. Awesome.
Ray has a question. So this might seem like a stupid question. No, there's no stupid questions. And I'm really sorry. Are Middle Easterners eligible? Oh, of course. You're people of I think people get confused when we talk about people of color. Like, it's not about our skin tone. I mean, it kind of is, but at the end of the day, like, I'm a lot lighter today than I was when I was a kid, and so is my mom. It's really weird. My mother's an immigrant. She used to look so ethnic, and now I'm like, what happened? You've been living in the U.S. too long. So at the end of the day, we're looking at what your heritage is. It's about race, about background. It's, yeah. So we're trying to say Black, Indigenous, and people of color. So that would probably be, I think if you're from England, you might be considered more white.
Right. Everyone on this panel except Trent.
Trent is the only one we allow on because he did start the first text about it.
The guy that started this.
So I hope it answers.
I love you.
I hope it answers that question.
Love you.
That's the clearest way to answer that question. It's like the game Guess Who. You just flip. Yep.
So it's so sweet. So we have another similar question from Ezra asking as well. He's also Middle Eastern, or maybe I think it's a he. Maybe it's a she. I don't want to assume. Mm-hmm. And you absolutely qualify. I've been meeting with people from Egypt. Yes, Indonesia, wherever. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, of course.
Okay, let me see if I can get.
Trent's a woman. By the way.
Okay, sorry. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Trent.
What's happening?
I want to respond with my email address. Can one of you look at the Q&A and get the next question?
Yeah.
RiseUp.
Ray, thank you. Oh wait, yeah. Thank you so much for doing this. By the way, this means a lot for me. Wanted to ask if our portfolio should be specific. For example, a story portfolio or character design, or only animating. Yeah. I mean, it should be specific to whatever you're applying for, your interest. Because I think sometimes we can get like there are certain things we may be good at or decent at that we may not want to do as our main job. And I've been told before, it's like, if you don't want to do that stuff, like keep that off of your reel. Keep that just put highlight the stuff that you want to do and yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, don't forget too, you can sign up for animation and then 30 days later sign back up for story. Get back in different ones.
Yep, for sure.
Oh, were you talking about I thought you meant for jobs. Sorry.
Oh no, just for RiseUp. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you want to choose one discipline for RiseUp to start with, and you can start with industry advice if you want, because then we can also help guide you to what maybe the next discipline is to sign up for. Right, Nicholas, where would I go to the portfolio reviews? I put that in the chat, but I will do it again. I will answer you on that one. But
and just
Instagram, RiseUp Animation on Instagram. Sorry, Trent.
Yeah, and I was just going to add, just to be clear, all these reviews are over Zoom, unless you've discussed to do it over email, verbally or in a written response. So
right.
They're all Zoom reviews.
Right.
Cool.
Christine Jimenez says, I'm Filipino but live in England. Can I join the program? Yes.
Bobby's like, yes, Filipinos.
Yes. Might be my next wife. Glenys Diaz, a self-taught artist. Okay, sorry. I'm a self-taught artist. I'll read this out to you guys, and I'll throw it out to you guys. Let me know what you think. I'm a self-taught artist and no art diploma to back me up, even if I get good at different skill sets. would I even bother to apply to internships to big studios?
Yes, definitely. Like, well, you know, some studios might have different guidelines, but we did have, and I'm blanking on her name. If you guys can remember, let me know. On the Marvel panel for Disney Week, we had, what's her name, Bobby?
Jana.
Jana. Yeah, Jana. So her story, her journey was that she finished high school and she didn't have the means to go to college, and she's self-taught, and she worked her way. She put her work online. She was on DeviantArt, Instagram, all this stuff. And now she works for Marvel Studios. She had a high school diploma, and she's now living in Burbank, you know, California, working for Marvel on their movies, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And something else that I would say is that if you're a great artist, like some people are just born with it. They're not like Trent, where they can just, you know.
I'm not born with it. No.
You know, and honestly, like if your portfolio is amazing, there's going to be very few people who are like, "What school do they go to?" Because you know, I've had mentees ask me, you know, and they're struggling. They need to really be working it. And their parents want them to go to Cal Arts, and I'm like, look, Cal Arts isn't going to guarantee you. You'll learn a lot, but you have to also have that ability to be able to grow your work, because at the end of the day, if you have a mediocre portfolio, even if you went to a big school, that's not going to guarantee you an in. So I just think that's important to mention. And then we should let Frank has a family and kids. So Frank, he's got a
yeah. I got the little ones I gotta attend to, and my daughter, I think she may be TV.
Oh, okay.
Too, so.
You're gonna head out.
But
right, thanks, brother.
Yeah, but I want to say thank you to you all for showing up and jumping in. I saw the questions, and I was like, oh man, I hope I can stay for all these. But it's great. It's great that you guys have all these questions, and you know, if I haven't scrolled through all of them, but if there's anything specific for me, feel free to email. You know, I'll get back to you. So, yeah, this was great.
Frank, you're superhuman, man, watching you juggle everything. And Frank, why don't you just give everyone your phone number if they have more questions?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
1-800.
Everybody watch out for Canvas. This the short film, the Frank short film that he directed for 5-6 years. It's going to come out soon, and
passion project.
I think it's going to be amazing. And you know, let's support this. Let's support our homie. You know, let's support our dude. I think it's going to be a wonderful film. And yeah, Canvas, man, it's going to come out soon. So. Yeah.
Very proud of you. Thank you, Frank.
Yeah. Very proud.
Thank you. Sorry to duck out.
No.
We're just glad you joined us. Please give a kiss to the family for us.
Yes. All right. See you.
I'm going to go into this question for Quinn, because I think it's an important one to talk about. There's a question that says, by chance, will you share your Discord server? We actually we didn't start a Discord. It's done by the mentees completely. So it may be called RiseUp Animation just for Discord, but it's not, it's all the mentees, right? We don't legally.
Yeah, it's been it's been an organic, and you'll see in the chat, I see lots of members from the Discord in the chat. It's been a fully organic Discord group, and that's what we love about it. And we poke our heads in from time to time, and it's amazing. The group is just supportive, and you know, all sorts of channels about peer review and mental health and work-life balance, and just like the important stuff. And it made me wish that I wish we had that when we were back in school, because there wasn't that. And it's a very cool community.
Yeah, the Discord is rad. Oh, well, there's the link.
There's the link. Awesome. Thank you. I was just letting people know that this is being recorded, because some people were asking about that, and I'll say that we're gonna have that, I believe, on Lightbox for people who might have missed it, and then we'll also keep it and put it on our YouTube channel at some point, right?
Cool. Yeah. Yes, for sure.
Sorry, let me just type that in case someone missed it.
Thank you for the link and blah blah blah. How are you feeling, Monica? If you're tired, we can end it. Like
I just want to no. I want to make sure. I want to talk. I feel bad. There's like 86 questions, and the two of you. So it's up to you.
We can answer them. I mean, like I just don't want you to.
Me?
Like burn out.
No, I'm totally fine. It's about you guys. This is about you guys.
Yeah, let's do. I have till 7:30. You want to do that?
All right.
13 minutes.
Yeah. Why don't we? Should we jump around a little, or?
Yeah. Whatever.
Oh, I think one of my mentees is asking if there's a way they can volunteer to help the organization, even though they're not in the industry yet. And that's so sweet. But right now, I think we're good. We can talk more about that. But it feels like we really want you to get into the industry and become a professional so that you can then be giving feedback and being on panels and looking at people's resumes or portfolios. But at the moment, I think we're good, right?
I think you're right, Monica. Yep.
See, thank you, though.
We're good. I mean, to whoever volunteered, I mean, beautiful. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, and what Monica said, I mean, like, we would rather you sort of concentrate on kind of getting into the industry at this point, and then you know, I don't know, it's so weird to say this, all this kind of stuff, but like, we can help you once you sort of get into the industry. So man, I'm gonna stop talking.
No. Hey, I like what Bobby's saying. We're all gonna pay it forward with time. That's the beautiful thing about our industry. We are here for each other, no matter where we're from. We got each other's backs, and we're all here to pay it forward.
Yeah, I think so.
I think there's a question for Bobby somewhere here that Nona looks like she said, please do a fire round for questions. I want Bobby to answer my question, but I don't.
Oh my God.
There's so many questions here. I don't know that I can find it. Maybe put it in the chat. Yeah. Where you go like really quick.
Lightning.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
What would you say to a 12th grader who started drawing in 9th grade who wants to reach our level of artistry so they can be professional artists like you guys or be able to get to art school?
Do it.
Sorry, go ahead, Trent.
No, you go.
Draw from the masters. Michelangelo, Leonardo, those like naked guys that are muscly, draw from that. That's what I did. I don't know if that helps. Anyway, go ahead, Trent.
Yeah, go Trent.
Good. No, that's good.
Okay.
Lightning.
Go Google people and look at artists and look at their work. Anonymous attendee, I would like to know how we can actually land a job. Since a lot of us are financially disenfranchised, we don't have access to a lot of programs to learn or classes or even time. Due to our finances, a lot of us need to work around the clock to survive. Totally. So the thing we will keep a lot of us out of, So the thing that will keep a lot of us out of the art side of animation is the experience. People can look at our work all day, but if we don't have the experience, we can't get in. How do we get over this hurdle? Well, first of all, sign up with us because we actually do have a lot of resources that we can share with you, and some of them actually may not cost. So don't assume, but I hear you. I don't want to, we were poor. Okay, I was totally poor.
All of us were poor.
Yeah,
like Trent is coming from Canada. I'm coming from Seattle. You're coming from
Hollywood. But my parents, we didn't have any money. So I get it, and I think that's a question. That's a good question. It's something you should talk about with a mentor.
Right.
All right. This is Lamont. A lot of us start as PAs, but get stuck and aren't allowed to move up. That seems to be a common issue. How can we get past this? Is it all just luck? I can answer that one. It is not all, sometimes it is, are you in the right place at the right time? I started Disney and I wasn't. So for me, I wasn't lucky. I had heard about people who got promoted quickly. It took me about 2.5 to 3 years before I got promoted, but I had been a manager before I ever came to Disney. So I took a step back so that I could get in and learn the animation industry. And I would say that if you're a stellar production person, if you're really amazing, the truth is everyone's going to want to work with you and they're going to want to promote you. So sometimes you have to look within. It isn't just about it. Sometimes it's about emotional intelligence, and sign up. And there are a lot of production management mentors, and we can talk about this.
What makes you a viable cream of the crop production person, Monica? You think?
Oh, I have an actual list of traits. So I have, because you know what? When you're in production management and people are telling you, yeah, you're just not ready yet. You're like, well, what are you looking for? Can you sum it up? So yeah, that's something I did at Disney. And so I actually do send it out to my mentees. And I can share that but basically you want to be your attention to detail. You're a good communicator. Do you listen? Do you care about the art of animation? Are you able to take copious notes? Can you multitask? Do you stay calm under pressure? Do you know when to push and when not to? Can you run a film? Are you confident? There's a lot.
Wow. I love that you have like an awesome Mary Poppins list. Like it's
I'm sure you would. I'm sure you would. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you would. Yeah.
Okay, where are we at? Sorry, I'm trying to go fast. Is there a Discord? We talked about that. Do you have any suggestions of how to find a mentor if you're not American?
Sign up for
Sign up. We do non-Americans all the time.
Also, I'll really quickly say too, reach out. You know, Bobby and I reached out. I know his story. We both reached out to tons of artists saying like, hey, can you look at my work? And that was an honest question, and we wanted that feedback. And hey, like 1 in 20 people might get back to you, but someone might latch onto your work and be willing to mentor you.
Yep.
Absolutely. What role would a traditional artist, oil painting and drawing, have in the animation studio? Wow, the basics. Visual development.
Yeah, I think those skills transfer digitally, but there's still people that paint, I'm sure at every studio, and background art that still paint traditionally too.
Absolutely. A lot of our visual development artists do that. We do moments or inspirational kind of blue sky feeling pieces that can be done on the computer or not. So absolutely. And then we also do matte painting. So we actually need that ability as well. Daniel says, on a scale from 1 to 10, how is being over 35 years old a barrier to starting a career in animation?
Oh, no barrier at all. Yeah. I mean, I got into Disney at 38.
Woo!
Like at Disney? Yeah, I got in late, dude. I got in late. And I even got into film late. I got into film at like, really like 30, 32. It was super late.
Bobby's 78 years old.
He just looks really good, man. It's that
I got in super late, guys, because just because whatever fucking circumstances, happened as they were. So I got in late, and then when I was in the TalDev program with Trent, same program, I was 29 or 28. Trent was like 24 or like 21 or something, some shit like that. And he would, and I would be like, fuck you, man.
Hey, Burt Klein, who's become a great CG animator. He started in 2D. He was 18 when I met him. I was 20. I was 28, 26 when I started, and he was like a baby.
I mean,
he just turned 21. I mean,
Trent, how old were you in training?
I think I was 23, but
23. So I was 29. No, not even 29. I think I was like 32. I think I was 32. Trent was 20, whatever. And we got along. It doesn't matter, I mean,
Okay, I'm gonna move us to the next question.
Okay, yep, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry, it's fine. You guys are awesome. Currently, Viz Dev and character design sessions are closed. When do we think we're gonna reopen that? It's hard to know because.
Yeah, you know what? I can speak to this. Every week we look at how many mentors we have, how many are doing feedback in the list, and I organically just go in and close off disciplines and reopen them. So you'll see from time to time that happening.
Cool.
Ari, as a white Latina woman, which I don't know how you can say you're white if you're Latina, but that's me, who currently lives in Costa Rica, pura vida. I love Costa Rica. I definitely exclude myself from projects like RiseUp because I feel my skin color gives me privilege. Well, look, there's absolute truths that, we have tried to, people try to assimilate. My mom came to this country as an immigrant, got her ass kicked every day because she couldn't speak English. And we were taught not to speak as much Spanish. So yes, there is that kind of people that have done that over the years. as a necessity to survive. And unfortunately, Black people and people who are very dark and in pigmentation don't have that ability. But you should not be excluded. So if you are Latina and you want to sign up, go right ahead. We, you know, when people sign up, there is a questionnaire, so you'll have to pick what your race or ethnicity is. And, you know, we don't judge. I will say that if I get somebody and they don't have any background that's of any kind of color, I would probably have a conversation with them. That has not happened yet. So I say go for it, Ari. Let's see, what's the best way to follow up with my Rise? This is, what's the best way to follow up with my RiseUp application, Trent?
Well, right now we're just asking you to be patient. I'd say give it 3 or 4 weeks. Check your spam too, because we have had people, you know, get their emails, go to spam. If you haven't heard back and it's been a month or more, just email us at riseupanimation@gmail.com. We go through all those. We check the list to make sure you're not falling through the cracks. There has been instances in the past where people do slip through, and we try to catch them. So just let us know. It does help when you let us know, and we can just let you know that you're on the list on the queue.
Right.
Anonymous question, and I think this is a great one. I mean, they're all great questions, but sometimes like something really strikes me, and it says, do you guys think there will be LGBT, probably Q, representation in feature films?
I think that's exactly what you know, what this program and a lot of other programs and also other groups that are great, like WIA or Latinx, or you know, the whole point is to rise up those voices so that we do get the representation.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's already starting to happen. People are having the conversations. You know, Disney may not do that immediately, but I know that there are conversations that happen. You know, I think it depends on the company. You know, yeah. Disney may have a view of themselves, so I can't speak for them. Yeah. I know, I see in the thing, we're still waiting for a gay Disney prince. I agree, princess as well. But I think that the more we can get more voices in, the more then those films can be made.
Yep.
Right?
There are a few things that I want from Disney is like a gay princess, and then yeah, that's all I want, I think. I don't know why I want. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I know that I was so excited when we had the first Black princess, and for me, I had to be on the film. Like, yep. To me, it was that I lobbied to be on that film, and I was the production manager on Princess and the Frog because that was monumental. So, yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
And I love that.
Yeah. And I guess this might be a little bit I'll rely on everyone to remind me if this is insensitive, but like I wanted a Disney gay princess, but I also wanted a heavy like an overweight, heavier set princess as well for Disney.
You mean when the maybe natural like curves?
Yeah, natural curves. That's also what I wanted to. I've always wanted to see that, and I'm always like, why do they always look like Belle, or like, why do they always look like Tiana? You know, I mean, I might get in trouble, but like, I think like, you know, like Megan Thee Stallion, I mean, like, beautiful. I mean, Nicki Minaj, beautiful.
I thank you for saying that. Like, it's not about getting in trouble. I mean, I think that's a bigger discussion. And I think we should be talking about that, because so to date, I mean, I think Moana probably has some of the more curves.
Lizzo,
a little Tiana, but for the most part, all the original Disney princesses were made by a lot of white men. And it's true, they looked kind of like Barbies, and their dimensions wouldn't work, and their eyes are very big, and I mean, they're beautiful for what they were, but times are changing, and hopefully we can have true representation of women and men, but especially women. Absolutely.
I think that's what my bigger thing was. I just kind of like hoping in the future, I just kind of like whatever down the line, whatever Disney has like planned down the pipe. I mean, hopefully.
But that's you guys. You guys are making content right now. So I say this to you because I'm actually volunteering as a producer on a short and it's about cancer because I'm a survivor. And I was saying that it's really important to me that that our lead female, that she not look like a typical, you know, size 0. And so you guys are in positions right now. I don't know what the stories are that you're creating, but if you have females, this is the time to be thinking about it and fighting for that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so it's 7:31. This has been amazing. I know.
Yep. Got off on a tangent. Yeah, sorry.
Oh gosh, it's you guys.
We could talk forever about this stuff, especially.
I know. Yeah, sorry. Do you want to pick one last one, Monica, that you want to end on, and then we can?
I think each of you should pick one because I've been kind of just going in order of them coming in.
Well, you know what? I will just instead of picking a question because I do have to run, but I would just like to say that you know, this has been awesome. The Rise Up family, you guys in the chat, our volunteers are just like, we have social media volunteers, we have people that are helping, you know, with admin support, and having Monica join us as a founder, just it's been so much love on our end and from all of you in the community. So I just want to say thank you to you all. Thank you for having us here. Thank you for tuning in, and please feel free to reach out to us anytime.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'll give a wave goodbye and leave it with you guys, but have a great night, everybody.
Oh, no. We can end on that. That's good.
We can, but I just have one more thing. I know I talk a lot, but I have one more thing. I saw this and I think it's important. I think people have the idea that because the mentors have the ability to choose a mentee, but it's not like we're going through and being, you know, it's just that we don't know if we're going to be able to do one person that week or 3, or sometimes I do 5, but you know, so for us, what we're doing is we're looking at the people who've been on the list the longest. So we're going in order. So that's how you're selected. And sometimes if there have been, you know, if there's people on the list that have all been waiting a week or 2, and I see somebody who, you know, I saw somebody who was from Argentina, and that's where my mother's from. So I was like, oh, no one selected that person. I'm going to grab that person along with the other 5 ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just kind of how it works out. But
Mm-hmm.
it is open to anyone who considers themselves to be a person of color. That is, you know, look at the world. You know, people keep asking about Latinos. You know, Latinos are absolutely people of color. So I'm sorry that, you know, you may have thought you're not, and that's okay if you want to call yourself white. That's up to you. I will never say that about myself.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you guys. Thank you so much for your time letting me do this with you. I love you guys. I love everybody. And I guess that's it, right?
Monica, thank you so much. Trent, thank you so much, guys. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in from Lightbox. It was a pleasure seeing you again. So we'll see you again soon. And yeah, hope.
Sign up.
Yeah.
More to come from Rise Up.
More to come.
More to come.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Stay safe. Wear your mask. Holy moly.